What's up, guys, and welcome to Lifting Love Reacts. My name is Lenny, and I appreciate you joining me tonight. Whether you're watching this, listening to this, I appreciate it. And it means the world to me if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. But anyway, I'm doing something that I normally don't do. I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. I mean, as young as I can remember, me and my dad would watch WWE, and I've just been hooked since I was a kid. And it's something I've never really talked about at length or in depth. And tonight, I'm sitting here watching Monday Night Raw, and I saw that it was going to be Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso. And in my head, because I think Triple H is doing a fantastic job, not going to ever take away from Triple H and everything that him and the whole entire team and staff are doing currently. But with that being said, there's also been some letdowns, and I think there's some conversations to be had on picking who should stay or who should remain champion. I think there's it's kind of fluctuated, which is nice to see because Roman Reigns had the championship for so long, and things are starting to switch hands. It's just questionable how, why, and when, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother spiel and a whole nother video. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll talk about that. So I haven't really talked about it a lot. I'm a huge WWE guy, always been. I love the stories. I love the athleticism, the performance, if you will, everything about WWE. So when I watched the match tonight and heard that it was going to be Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso, I got a little concerned because this Jey Uso character, who's been Mr. YEET for so long, hasn't really done anything, right? So since he's been away from his brother and away from the bloodline, I mean, he had a little stint with Cody Rhodes, which I wish that would have went on longer, but it didn't. Besides that, he's kind of been stuck. I mean, I didn't think, I thought what happened to Ricochet was going to happen to Jey Uso. I honestly, there was a slight period of time, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, even though he was with Judgment Day, like, you can kind of just see the potential and, being in that faction. And then they started doing stuff with R-Truth, which was great, but his in-ring ability is amazing as well. And then the whole Gunther thing, but he's finally champion. So I think there was just stretches of time where you're looking at people and you're like, okay, what are they going to do? Because they're doing nothing currently, right? So it was nice to see Sami get his run and an incredible match with him and Gunther at WrestleMania, right? So I felt that way with Jey Uso, and I got to a point, same thing with LA Knight, right? Yeah. Every time he would get really, really close, he'd lose. He'd get really, really close, and then he'd lose. Same thing with Jey Uso. And Jey Uso's entrance and the whole yeeting kind of reminds me of the Yes movement. And I know it's completely different, but I'm watching tonight, and he comes out. It's just me, Uso. Day one. I mean, the whole crowd is going crazy. And then they cut to a commercial break. And the commercial felt like 10 minutes long, even though it's probably 3 to 5. And you come back, and they're just still yeeting. Like, they get back on the chorus. I mean, I haven't seen somebody be able to hold a crowd like that for that long. So there was a point in time where I really did not know what was going to happen with the character that is Jey Uso. It's so funny because I was going to get on this tonight regardless of what happened. Well, okay, to be fair, I did not think he was going to win at all. And I'm not saying that because I don't like the guy. I root for him. I think he's great. I want to see him win, and I'm excited that he won. But for so long, it's been no, 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 right? And now it's finally like happening, and it still doesn't seem real. 40 minutes after, I mean, I'm recording this at 11:40 at night, and I'm sitting here just thinking to myself, did that really happen? Because I was like conditioned to not think or imagine what that would be like when it happened, right? So I just I'm so happy that it happened, and I got on this because I was gonna literally just rant about how people deserve these championship matches and these title reigns, and then now I'm coming on here just completely like, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the YEET movement happens. And it's so crazy because at this time last year, if you would have told me that LA Knight Yeah, and Jey Uso would be Intercontinental and United States Champion, I literally would have told you that you were lying to me because I was so like defeated. Like you don't know what's gonna happen with these characters. This is the greatest thing about WWE because it's theater, right? We all know, like they are athletes. They put their body on the line, but it's theater, right? It's they don't always all hate each other. They're not really trying to kill each other. They're trying to put on a show for the crowd. And I know that. And I've known that for a very long time. And people go, it's fake, it's this, it's that. It's amazing entertainment. It's athletes at the highest level doing some incredible things, right? Like incredible things that the average person can't do, that hell, some probably like professional athletes can't even do. And it's incredible, but it's theater, it's show. I get that. But it kind of comes to a point where it's like, what's going on? What are we doing? Like, why are we wasting this talent? Like Damian Priest was a big one. I really like his just his moveset and just everything he's able to do, at that size. But it was like, okay, what are we doing? Sami Zayn is another perfect example. An incredible athlete. Has all these incredible moves at his disposal. Then they did the Bloodline skit, and like he was part of it and he was in it, and which I thought was great and it was awesome. But it was kind of like, okay, now he's out of the Bloodline. What are we gonna do? And nothing kind of happened until, that build up to WrestleMania. And I mean, I get it. Like the card is so stacked. This is probably, in my time watching wrestling, which has been, I'm 26 now. I've been probably watching wrestling since I'm 7, 8, 9 years old. I don't think there's ever been a more stacked card from top to bottom. And I mean that in like, you can watch almost any match on a pay-per-view and you're like, holy crap, like that was awesome, right? That was great. That was super talented people. Like, I feel like there used to be a time where like you could literally just like, oh, okay, what we got? 20 minutes? Okay, cool. I'll wait till the next match. And there was that period of time. And I really do want to give Triple H all his credit. The Paul Levesque era is 100% a real thing. There has just been some parts of a little bit of doubt. And I just never thought that people like Sammy or people like Damian or people like Jay would ever get an opportunity. And I introduced my wife to wrestling and she's watched before, but she kind of hasn't really gotten into it. And it was always like the same thing. Like, why can't this guy win? Why can't this guy win? And she's not even like into it. Like, I'm into it. You know what I mean? So it's funny because like she witnessed that and she was experiencing that, and she would be like, it'd be like 1, 2, and then he'd kick out and she'd be like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden there'd be a distraction. And this is not just the Bloodline, but this is just like every story. There's like different interferences and all this stuff, and it's great for the story. But it kind of goes back to that point. It's like, okay, what's happening? Why is this happening? But I think if you really think about it, right? Like I pulled up Jey Uso's accomplishments, his titles, right? He's 10-time tag team champion, 1-time Andre the Giant Battle Royale, WWE Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. That's a weird. Okay, doesn't say winner, it just says Battle Royal. Okay, he has one of them. So I'm just. I read that like how it should have been. Anyway, and so he's kind of been just touted as this tag team guy, and which is great. And I think him and Jimmy did probably one of, hands down, the best tag teams of all time. At least in the conversation, top 3, top 5, if not one of. I mean, obviously, you don't talk tag teams. I mean, I'm divulging into different things, but the main point of this, and this is why the blue light's on back here, if you could see it, got my WWE Championship right there, but it's YEET time. I want to see what Jimmy. I want to see. You got me talking. I'm talking tag teams now. I want to see what Jey Uso can do. I want to see what he's about. I want to see what he's going to do with this title reign. I really don't want this to be short. I would love to see him carry it at least 3 to 6 months. I think that would be huge. Obviously, I think, him and Braun have to run it back. I would love to see him and Sammy in the ring together. I think that would be freaking awesome, especially tonight when, he was on his side and was like, I'm rooting for you. Go get your championship. I think there's so many matches that can happen. I think him and Finn or him and Dom would be amazing matches. Now that Jay's kind of intertwined with the Terror Twins and Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. I think him and Finn or him and Dom would be an amazing match. Dom does not get the credit he deserves as a wrestler. That's a whole nother episode or whole nother hour and a half of me talking. But I'm so excited for Jey Uso, and I'm so excited to see what is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? I would love for you to put it in the comments. I would really love to. Who should his next opponent be? Who would be the dream match that you would make? Intercontinental Championship match, Jey Uso versus blank. Put it in the comments. But last thing I want to wrap up with is I did not think it was going to happen. I sat in front of the TV and I literally was like, I am going to sit down and record something tonight because I am so mad at the fact that they are not using people correctly. And I was wrong. So shout out to the writers, shout out to the producers, Paul Levesque, everybody at WWE who keeps fans like me and you hopefully watching on their toes and never really kind of expect what's next. Do I think it was his time? 100%. I think it was his time 3 to 6 months ago. Last year, I thought it was his time. But that's storytelling over time. It's incredible. Yes, it's infuriating at times. There is times where you're just like, what the absolute crap? Why is this happening? And now you kind of see that stuff come to fruition, which is amazing. It's incredible, and I love it. But there's times where you're like, I hate this. Why am I watching this? Like, what? And then you just get hooked back in. It's like, it's such a roller coaster ride. Like, it's just ups and downs and peaks and valleys. So I'm so excited for Jey Uso, Intercontinental Champion. I'm so excited to see what happens, what can be. And man, WWE is just on a freaking roll right now. If you're not watching, and like, it's so funny, like just being a kid who watched and people would just laugh at me and, say stupid stuff. I mean, then I had friends who they would come over and all we would do is wrestle. In the pool, we would do these crazy things off the ladder into the pool. I had one friend who actually let me put him through a table, which was pretty awesome, even though the table didn't break. So like, WWE has been a huge part of my life, and it's just incredible. I think it's on such a roll right now, and I'm excited that more people are watching it and being entertained and kind of seeing the full-scale spectacle that WWE is. And I think Jey Uso is just going to add to that. So let me get a hold on, yeet, and that's really all I got. But if you haven't, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and I'll stop talking. We out. Yeet.